Olá, estamos com Christian Brandt, o Chief Designer da Zenvo Automotives, que nos vai dar a conhecer um bocadinho o que é este fantástico carro que temos aqui atrás de nós. Christian, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us a bit of the story of behind Zenvo, what it is, where you plan to go?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Thank you.
Zenvo Automotive was founded in 2007. It was really myself and our chief engineer. We had a dream of building a supercar. My background is design. I used to work with Alfa Romeo, so I knew how to pull that off in the right scale. Our chief engineer has a very long history of doing racing cars, so he always had that dream to build like a really supercar. And so we did.
Okay, so basically you mentioned Italian designing.
Yeah.
With an Alfa Romeo background. Obviously you can look at the Zenvo and the lines are, purely, they are very, very, very sexy.
Thank you very much.
As a supercar, you pointed out to something really outrageous. 1100 horsepower, big V8, supercharged. Turbocharged, sorry. Turbocharged.
No,
both supercharged and turbocharged.
Yeah,
okay, so that's to compensate turbo lags and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Huge torque.
Yeah.
In terms of performance-wise, not only in straight line, how do you define the Zenvo in terms of handling generally?
Well, I think I need to describe the concept of the car first, because the idea was to make a supercar that is day-to-day drivable.
Okay.
So it has a quite spacious, very luxurious interior, so you can drive it every day if you want. It's quite well insulated for noise on the interior. You have a lot of features, electric seats, you have our own developed Android-based instrument panel and multimedia system with all kind of connectivity to iPhone, etc., etc. So it's very advanced and very comfortable. So we have three drive modes. We have wet, sport and race. Wet is 650 horsepower.
Just.
Sport is 850, and then you have 1104. So the concept was to make a car that was everyday drivable, and we wanted to create a car that was beautiful in a different way from some of the other very almost race car, track day cars that was in the market when we started up. We felt that the design had to be really unique and stand out, and actually the reason behind the lines and the curves on the car is to try to express the fact that it has 1100 horsepower. If you make a scale where you put something like a very almost race car-like street car in one end, it could be a Gumpert, for example, or a Koenigsegg, and in the other end you have a Bugatti Veyron. We have cut the outer extremes off, but we are in somewhere in between that.
The virtue is in the middle.
Yeah, you can drive it. It's very easy and comfortable to drive if you have it in the low power mode. But if you want to go on a track one day, you can choose to put semi-slicks on it, and then you can have a really good time on a track.
These 1100 horsepower are available with normal fuel.
Yes.
You don't need race fuel or further adjustments in the engine to just press of the button and you have 1100 horsepower under your tap.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fabulous. In terms of
handling, the car is made totally to the understanding of what is a fun supercar by our chief engineer, and really he felt that there were so many cars with so much electronic control and stabilizers and everything out there that he wanted to make something that really stood out from that and was really a back to basics supercar. Controls was always inspired by the Ferrari F40, and this cannot really be compared to a Ferrari F40 because it's much bigger and much more luxurious, but that feeling of what we call raw luxury is what we wanted to try to achieve with the car.
What about in terms of weight? What are we talking about here for the Zenvo?
The Zenvo is not an ultra lightweight car. We have a dry weight of 1688 kilos, and of course that's a compromise between wanting to have quite a lot of sound insulation, to have electric motors on the seats, etc., etc., etc. That all weighs. So, but with all the horsepower we have, you don't really feel the weight. That there is an instant throttle response in any gear you're in with this car because you have that 1430 Newton meter, and so it doesn't feel like a heavy car.
Okay, your option to maintain also the manual option, which is in certain manner nowadays every car brand is opting just to skip the manuals. Everyone wants paddles behind the wheel. Most of your clients would go for the manual, for the automatic. What do you reckon?
We think 90% of our clients will go for the automatic.
Okay.
We wanted to say that we could do this, and it's really a part of our options. Well, it's basically the only option because everything is the same on the car otherwise. But because it's really a a car that is meant for somebody who enjoys to drive. And of course, when you have 1100 or 100 horsepower, you also need to be a capable driver of getting the best out of that. But we think that it's sort of closely connected with the manual gear. And as I said, this sort of back to basics philosophy of the car is sort of very coherent, I think, with having a manual stick.
Okay, the fact that this car, I imagine, is almost hand-built.
Yes.
In terms of customization. You know, you can have a client ordering you. Basically, you can almost have achieved not having two cars identical, right?
That is what we actually hope for, and I think will be like that. I mean, what we actually do is because we are a new player in this segment, we are investing quite heavily in building the cars. So we actually build cars to stock almost. We just don't give them a paint job and a finish and select the wheels, and we don't install the interior. Once we have the specifications from the client that are specified, colors of the interior with the Alcantara, with the leather, with the stitching and everything, we then can assemble the car in only 4 months. And this is a huge advantage, or a huge sort of leap for us, because we know that some clients are put off by waiting 12, 18 months.
1 year sometimes for a car.
This is not a logical buy. This is a passion buy.
Exactly.
And when you see something, you have the money to buy this kind of car, you want it as quick as possible.
You mentioned a crucial point. What about the money to buy this car?
The price is 800,000 euro. That is an all-inclusive price, and it doesn't matter whether you choose the manual or the paddle shift version. The only extras we have in the car, because if you look at the sort of options list, it just says yes. The only extras we have is a car cover. It's fitted luggage for our luggage compartment, and it's an extra set of wheels with semi-slicks. That's what we offer extra.
375 kilometers per hour top speed, 3 seconds not to 100 kilometers per hour with rear-wheel drive. Do you have to be like this master of driving, or this Zenvo comes with a launch control, you just do it by yourself and that's it?
It's as I said, it is a back to basics car. We don't have launch control, so it is a car that is demanding to drive when we have a lot of horsepower. But as I said, if you drive in the low mode, it's 650 horsepower, you have ESP, so it's very easy, and anybody can drive the car.
In terms of safety, we're talking about the whole airbags and stability control, traction control.
We have traction control. We have ABS brakes. So
okay, everything.
The car is fully approved by TÜV single vehicle. We have passed the Euro 5 emission for the exhaust, which is a huge accomplishment.
With 1100 horsepower, that shouldn't be easy.
We have approached the whole sort of ECU issue differently than a lot of other people. They quickly go to some supplier, Bosch or others, that develop it for them. We have actually developed everything in-house. So all electronics in the car is controlled by ourselves.
Fantastic.
And we have done a very, very clever engine management system that actually means that the car, even though it has 1100 horsepower, will pass the emission
test. Christian, thank you very much for your time. I hope all the best for you with this project.
Thank you very much.
Estivemos com Christian Brandt da Zenvo Automóveis, 1100 cavalos. Uau!